What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a huge WrestleMania match locked in, what has happened to Jimmy USO, Saudi Arabia is going all out to secure The Rock, a WrestleMania-like stage for the Royal Rumble, a major WWE title match pitched, a release name returns to TNA, R-Truth breaks his silence over Triple H's comments, there's a former WWE Women's Champion back at the Rumble, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first story looks at a huge WrestleMania match locked in. Now top story today looks at a match for WrestleMania that is seemingly locked in. According to reputable outlet Fightful Select, one of the biggest matches on the show this year is going to see AJ Lee take on Becky Lynch. It looks like Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee is planned for WrestleMania. While many have assumed it to be the case, WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select reported that AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch was considered to be one of the more locked-in matches for WrestleMania. A number of creative changes have occurred towards WrestleMania, but this has been a planned match for quite some time. AJ Lee returned to wrestling last September on a part-time deal. She's not wrestled a one-on-one match as of yet. AJ's made Lynch tap out twice since her September 2025 return, so this is certainly a matchup that makes logical sense. AJ Lee has been completely absent from TV as of late, and there are rumors that she could be making a return to WWE programming at the Royal Rumble next weekend. One of the things the report doesn't discuss is whether the match is going to be for the Women's Intercontinental title. Logic would assume that the match would be, however, some may argue that it's a match that doesn't need the title involved. Next up, what has happened to Jimmy USO? Some fans were a little bit worried when brother Jey Uso made a quick shout out to both Jimmy Uso and Trin, aka Naomi, but now it seems that we actually have some news in regards to his absence. As a Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Jimmy Uso's absence from the most recent episode of Raw is not due to an injury, which is often assumed when a wrestler misses a show. Instead, it was explained that Jimmy didn't take part in WWE's recent European tour because of a family situation, not a physical issue. This also explains why Brother Jay is coming out each and every week and not defending the tag titles, of course. Right now, there's no timeline on when he'll be back on television. The report notes that Jimmy and his wife Naomi are expecting their first child, and his absence appears to be related to that family matter. We're wishing them all the best. Next up, Saudi Arabia going all out to secure The Rock. Now, it's been heavily reported that Saudi Arabia wants to secure The Rock for WrestleMania 43, and in the latest update on this, it's been reported that The Rock will receive the largest pro wrestling offer of all time to work the show. This report comes from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, who stated, "When WrestleMania was first announced for Saudi Arabia, we noticed from sources in that country and its plans that they were wanting Johnson on the show, and that Johnson would be getting the largest offer ever made for someone to do a pro wrestling show for his involvement." Would The Rock really turn this down? Well, that's up for debate, but we have to consider that due to The Rock failing to receive an Oscar nomination, this may influence whether he decides to wrestle next year in Saudi Arabia. In relation to his opponent on the show, logic suggests that he faces Roman Reigns, but due to The Rock's personal fondness of Cody Rhodes, we can't even rule out the final boss versus the American Nightmare. Which would you prefer though? Next up, a Raw GM wrestling? And due to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce's ongoing feud with the Vision on television, there has been some speculation that Pearce could be stepping foot in the ring. Fans have been wondering if WWE are going to deliver Pearce vs Bron Breakker on the road to WrestleMania 42. However, it doesn't appear that that is planned. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, sadly there are no plans for Pearce to wrestle in the ring at this stage. Now obviously this doesn't mean that plans could change later on, but right now, it's a no-go. Next up, a WrestleMania-like stage for the Rumble. Various videos and photos have been made of the brand new stadium being built for the Royal Rumble, and it looks pretty awesome to say the very least. However, now thanks to a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's believed that the Royal Rumble will have a WrestleMania-like stage. And judging by the space that they have at the front, they could make an absolutely incredible stage. Next up, a major WWE title match pitched. Now, a certain SmackDown star could be set for a major push in WWE. According to Fightful Select, due to creative revolving around WrestleMania changing, one of the names who could benefit from this change is Sami Zayn. A fan favorite WWE star could be in a position for a big push, or at least was. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been reported that WWE creative has heavily changed headed towards WrestleMania. We heard about some of those creative ideas ahead of that though. Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp heard throughout the week on the WWE European Tour that Sami Zayn had been discussed and even tentatively planned for a World Championship match ahead of WrestleMania. The report added that Zayn could indeed win the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday night's main event tomorrow night, but Zayn in the WWE title picture was planned since the summer. Zayn was factored into the qualifier matches for top contendership on the European tour and made it to the finals. The Royal Rumble was an event thrown our way as a possibility before it being reiterated that it was likely before WrestleMania. We aren't sure if that has changed in light of creative pivots. One source near WWE Creative said that it has been a story beat many on the team were hoping to get since the Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross storyline that happened throughout 2025, and we therefore can't rule out the possibility of Zayn winning the Royal Rumble next weekend and then challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE title on the grand stage of WrestleMania. Next up, another WWE name pushing for major change. Now, earlier this week, the face of WWE, Cody Rhodes, stated that WWE should be doing some more live events. Now, Bayley has also chimed in with similar sentiments. Speaking to the Toronto Sun, this is what the former women's champion had to say. "It was really brutal, the old WWE schedule. Now when I look back at it, I miss them. I feel it helps with longevity and keep up and stay relevant is because we had that experience. It's very different than TV. TV is stressful. You have to hit these times and camera angles. Sometimes you always don't have a match on TV. It could be a promo or backstage, but if you get your reps on the live event, it makes a world of difference." Bayley would point out that the young stars aren't getting reps on live events to receive crowd exposure. People like Roxanne Perez, Lyra Valkyria, and Maxine Dupree. When Zoe Stark was coming, we talked about that. They just need those reps on live events that really transfer and make you feel more confident on television. I wish we could find a happy and healthy balance to get some back. Maybe a little more this year. For someone like me, it does help my body, but I feel for the ones that really want to be on those shows. Live events have practically been abolished in WWE, and they mainly focus on international tours and special events rather than the traditional live event model. Next up, a release name returns to TNA. That's been a real roller coaster of a week for Trey Miguel. He was released from AEW due to an old tweet surfacing, and now he's officially re-signed with TNA. He returned to the promotion during last night's Impact as part of the Feast or Fired match. Miguel was able to acquire one of the briefcases, and he was even poking fun at his hectic week on social media. Next up, R-Truth breaks his silence on Triple H's comments. Now, in a recent episode of Netflix WWE Unreal Season 2, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H addressed the confusing contract situation involving longtime WWE star R-Truth last year. Triple H insisted that Truth was, well, never technically fired or out of contract with WWE, despite what many fans believed when Truth announced his departure in June of 2025. According to Triple H, negotiations over renewing Truth's contract had stalled because both sides were far apart on financial terms, and then communication broke down. WWE's plan, he said, was to let the contract lapse as a negotiation tactic to encourage further talks, not to terminate Truth's contract outright. Triple H explained that when discussions reached a stalemate, it's common for both sides to interpret situations differently. He pointed out that while Truth publicly stated that he was released, it wasn't WWE's intention to fire him and was never under any contract during that process. However, on The Breakfast Club, Truth gave his side of the story, and he felt like he had been fired. "My agent and their people were talking. I was staying out of that. I got a call from this person who said, 'Your contract isn't being renewed.' I wasn't even in a dialogue situation. This is the first time having an agent handle my business. I've always done my own business. This is my first time where I stayed out of dialogue. That's the way I took it. It felt like a firing to me. That's when I took that moment and couldn't figure out how I felt." Truth confirmed in there that he felt completely taken off guard by the contract situation. Next up, AJ Styles invited to SmackDown. Tonight's SmackDown broadcast could be a fascinating watch, as SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis has formally invited AJ Styles to SmackDown. The nature of the invitation is unknown, but these two names have a ton of established history dating back to their days in TNA. There's a ton of discourse on social media right now that AJ is indeed retiring next weekend, and if this is the case, this could mark AJ's final ever appearance on the Blue brand. The SmackDown brand and AJ go hand in hand, as AJ was a face of the show in 2016 and even won the WWE title on the show a year later. In fact, today marks the 10-year anniversary of AJ Styles' WWE debut at the Rumble. Next up, WWE PLE viewership shocks fans. Yesterday, Netflix officially dropped data revealing PLE viewership for 2025. The official data just makes up for fans who watch internationally, as of course WWE PLEs in the US stream via Peacock and then ESPN. The official list makes for interesting viewing to say the very least. The most viewed PLE of the year was the Royal Rumble with over 3 million views, and the lowest viewed PLE of the year was Evolution with under 1 million views. A lot of surprises come from the fact that the Rumble triumphed over WrestleMania. The Rumble last year had a ton of hype heading into it, and it's a key factor that WrestleMania build was less than stellar. In relation to Evolution, WWE did a disservice to the women when it came to the build to the show. The show was basically forgotten about, and it's easy to see why there was a lack of demand for the show itself. Next up, Chris Jericho debuting a new gimmick. And Chris Jericho is the undisputed king of reinvention. Jericho knew that when his character was getting stale, he needed to switch things up and debut a new persona. And now there are rumors that Jericho may debut an entirely new gimmick when he returns to WWE television, and during a new interview with Soundsphere magazine, Jericho confirmed that he doesn't want to rely on nostalgia. Reinvention is important at any stage of your career because you want to keep people excited and motivated about what you're doing. The Rolling Stones' last record, Hackney Diamonds, was great. Why wouldn't the Stones release a new album? Because they're artists, and that's what artists do. Keeping things fresh and exciting is something I believe in wholeheartedly. There's nothing wrong with having tinges, but you still want to create a new thing as well, so you're not just a nostalgia act. Jericho is heavily rumored to be returning at the Royal Rumble next weekend, and his AEW contract has now expired, as he is a free agent able to pursue other opportunities. Next up, a former champion training for a return. Could former WWE Divas champion Paige be training for a WWE comeback and return at the Royal Rumble? The former WWE star took to Instagram to show videos of her training in the ring, and this has now led to speculation that she could be involved in the Women's Royal Rumble next weekend. Paige has never formally ruled out a WWE comeback, and the Rumble is typically an event of big returns, and she more than fits the bill. Finally, a medical update on Jim Ross. Our final story today looks at a medical update for wrestling legend Jim Ross, as he's missed AEW television this week due to suffering a fall. According to the Hall of Famer on his podcast, he's doing pretty good, but he noted that he was lying on the floor for 5 hours.
I'm pretty good, Conrad. I'm not as sore as I have been after some of my falls, but the hardwood floor of my living room still is unkind. I laid on the floor for 5 hours. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen. 5 hours. My ace assistant, Stephen Link, had a family emergency, so I couldn't get a hold of him. His phone died. That won't happen again.
Hopefully this means that JR is doing okay and he's able to resume his duties for AEW in the near future. But there you have it, folks. The wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.